Okay, Charlotte, are you ready to talk about sex and sex parties and dating?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to be bringing on the very lovely Emma Sayle. Emma, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you guys?
We're very good. So I'm here with the amazing Charlotte Carpenter. She is an incredible musician. She's also a lesbian woman, and we want to know more about what you do. So you have like a premium sex party company. Tell us more about that.
What started as sex parties,
Yes.
12 years ago, has sort of grown into a massive online community with events happening all over the world. And actually, over more than half our events now don't involve shagging, which probably comes as a great disappointment to a lot of people listening. But so there's workshops and talks and couples retreats and the whole online side of it is sort of set up a bit like an online dating site or an online community, so people can search and browse and hook up with other members. So it's when people say, what does the business do? It's kind of go, well, it kind of used to be parties, but it's turned into this sort of massive sort of digital beast, online beast now. So we still do. We have over sort of 25 events a month all over the world, and then we have the whole online side of things. So which we're massively expanding at the moment. And that's it, really, in a nutshell.
It sounds incredible, and I love that it's really, really community focused. And I guess, does that come from so many people kind of having conversations, being sexually open? And I guess the kind of people who would sign up to a website like this are going to be of a certain open mindset, right? And is that kind of where the community focus comes from?
Yeah, massively. So, and also, the whole ethos from day one has been this female-powered and female-driven mindset. That the whole concept was initially to provide a safe environment for women to explore their sexuality, and no matter what that was, whether it's just sort of meeting other women or a bit of lipstick lesbian, trying to, wanting to snog another female, or whether it's a couple where, straight couple where the women in the couple is bisexual, bi-curious, or whether it's a lesbian couple, it's always very much been about the women being in control and feeling safe. So that's massively driven the whole community side, which then translates online. So when the chatting in the forums, messaging and all the messaging and everything and communicating with other members online happen, it's very much the same feel, that the girls just feel that they're in a safe environment. So whether that's offline at an event or online in one of the forum chat rooms.
So do you think do you think that are there a lot of kind of lesbian women, bisexual women, that kind of thing coming to use Killing Kittens as a service to kind of, or is it more straight women who may be more interested in experimenting, or do you think it's mostly kind of heterosexual women?
It's a complete mix, to be honest. And I think what's happened, massively in society, and actually, the massive shift in the last 12 years is actually, women are a lot more fluid. So there is that, a lot more women now who might have a decade ago labelled themselves very much straight, are sort of falling in that, especially with the younger generations and the millennials.
Sure.
They're sort of that kind of trisexual of, one night they'll go out and they'll end up with a guy, and the next night they'll go out and decide to sleep with a woman. It's very difficult to label a lot of our people. I mean, a lot of them would say they're straight and they're in straight couple relationships, but then you get chatting to the girl and they say, well, they really like girls as well, but they also like being with a guy. And it's quite scientifically, there's always been this sexuality scale of 1 to 7, with guys very much falling on the 1 or the 7.
That's the Kinsey scale, right?
Yeah, exactly. Whereas women have always been sort of 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
In the middle. And I think because society is much more accepting now, it's kind of, the women are more open to go, well, actually, we are kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
I quite fancy that girl today, and I fancy that boy tomorrow. So it's
really about empowering women and giving them the opportunity to make decisions over their own kind of sexuality. It's interesting because Charlotte and I were just having a conversation about how women are kind of often looked at as, they're a sexual object for men, particularly lesbian women, for instance. So historically, lesbian women were kind of looked at as, they were kind of accepted, but only accepted as being something that guys could get off to. So I think it's really cool that you have a community that is, women focused and about kind of giving women that opportunity to explore their sexuality safely and openly and in a way that's really, really respectful.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens? So I know you're not just about sex parties and things. I know you do so much more than that. But say I was or Charlotte, for instance, or if I was a woman, wanting to come along, what kind of things would I expect?
So if you wanted to come along, are you talking about coming along to one of the main sort of the full-on KK parties? Yeah.
The full business.
So the full whack. So those ones are no matter.
Did you say?
I heard that as well.
No,
that's not what you said, is
I
it?
Right? I stuttered. I definitely stuttered.
You need to be very careful with that.
That's how headlines happen.
Very careful.
The wrong headlines happen.
2 Ks.
KK. That was a tired. I've just put the kids to bed stutter going on. So basically, whatever city nord you went to, one of the full KK parties. The format's the same, so they're all masked. They're pretty much always cocktail dress. Sometimes there's a theme, but the theme is generally cocktail dress with, it might be all that glitters, so it's glittery dresses. Or sometimes unless it's Halloween, or it might be Valentine's, it's sort of red and black, or so it's that, and it's couples and girls we let in, so we don't let in single guys.
Okay.
So every guy has to be accompanied by a girl. So it's not necessarily they have to be genuine couples, just as long as the guy is escorted by a girl and obeys the rules. And we have very strict rules that once within an event, the men can't speak to girls they don't know. They have to wait for the girls to approach them. So it's very much the girls have to make the first move
and that's
within all the events.
And that's again to make the women feel safe and empowered and like that they have the control and...
Exactly. And it's kind of a win-win because the women feel empowered and in control and the men can step back and do nothing and wait to be jumped.
Yeah.
So the men are happy and the women are happy. And it takes out that whole, testosterone thing of men being out on the prowl, which is what gets the women's backs up and makes them feel insecure and, pieces of meat is the minute that happens. But you take that out of the equation and it completely changes the dynamic. So going back to the event, so we always have like a champagne and often an oyster reception.
Ooh, fancy.
So, and they're always, most of the time they're in private, it's very posh. Most of the time they're in private houses, private residences. And you'd be like walking in, you'd feel like you're walking into a private party and think, everyone's pretty good looking, or just nice looking, and everyone's very polite and sort of, you get chatting to loads of people and everyone's very friendly, but you can feel the tension because people know why they're there and the whole point of it. So it's very sexually charged, and then you have the playrooms, which are the bedrooms, all candlelit and have their own music. And just slowly you might get groups of people, groups of girls going off into one of the playrooms.
Okay.
And then the next thing you know, after a couple of hours, you can be in the bar area and think, oh, there's half the people that were here an hour ago, and you go for a wander, and all the bedrooms are sort of, there might be 10 in one room or 20 in another.
20?
Whoa.
Sometimes.
Bloody hell.
And you just, you then try and work out what limb is attached to what person.
Do you have to have checks and stuff before you do this?
Have to have checks?
Yeah, like sexual health checks and...
No, we don't. Obviously, we sort of, we put it out there and, we teamed up with a couple of different companies on that front. And we have bottles of condoms around, but at the end of the day, it's consenting adults, and there's only so much you can police.
Yeah.
You can't,
yeah.
And you can't really ask them all to provide, some sexual health certificate, because that would be tricky.
Emma, did you ever see there was a tremendous Louis Theroux documentary about kind of like sex parties and swing parties and things. Did you ever see that? Because that's kind of what I'm picturing in my head.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you should
I didn't
absolutely
hear about that one
watch it.
either.
You
That
should
one. I
absolutely
missed that
watch
one.
it.
No, I will, definitely.
But what I loved about that, and it sounds very much like it's exactly the same with Killing Kittens, was that it was completely open, and you know, as long as you weren't kind of, as long as everything was consensual and everyone was being respectful, then it was very much, you know, anything goes, and there was no judgment and things like that. It was just, you know, this is people being open and free, and nobody's there to judge, and everyone's just there to have a good time. Would you say that's...
Do you know what? That's exactly that. And it's actually quite comedy. I always say it's a really dark comedy,
Okay.
the whole setup, because people just laugh at each other in a nice way.
In a nice
And there's no...
I hope so.
That's tiny, what do you call it? That is not a penis type laughing. But they're just... Because there's no egos. There's no... And people end up getting naked. So, you know, a guy that, you know, got a 2-inch cock and normally on the outside, you know, in real life drives a Ferrari and gives it the whole big Mr. Big I Am, I'm a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
It's like when he's naked, he's just sort of, you know, the same as anyone else. And they're sort of, you know, high-fiving, or things could go wrong, or someone might fall off their bed, or, you know, there's always really funny comedy moments.
Yeah.
I always say it would make a hilarious sitcom.
Oh my God! You should pitch that. Pitch that to I was going to say the BBC. No. Pitch it to Channel 4. They'll love it.
Yeah. And it's just, you know.
One.
Huh?
Send
Right,
Louis
exactly.
Theroux to one.
Yeah. You should get Louis Theroux along. He'd love it.
But then we couldn't film it. We don't let cameras into ours, so it would have to be sort of a fictional one, but based on reality, but fictional.
So
comedy.
you say like you're not allowed cameras. So like, are people not allowed to like bring their phones and things along and like
No.
take a cheeky
So
selfie?
no one's ever checked into a Killing Kittens party, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But I'm still waiting for that one idiot that checks into a Killing Kittens party. But no, that's never happened. And yeah, we ban phones because of the privacy and the cameras element. We have security at all the events.
Wow.
And it's and you know, the people there, they're private people, and you know, they're all quite successful people, and it's not a case of, people often say, oh, is it just a bunch of posh Chelsea people? And it's just, you know, it's not that at all. It's a complete mix of nationalities, a complete mix, you know, of social demographic and cultural in there. But I would say they have very similar mindsets. They're all quite successful people who have that drive and ambition, and they want to experience life, and they've got that go-getting attitude. And what comes with that is that, you know, they're not happy just sort of sat at home.
Absolutely.
In a little bubble. They want to go and explore life, and whether that's jumping out of an airplane or climbing a mountain or shagging a neighbour, they want these new experiences. So that it's that mindset, that kind of hedonistic mindset that they all have. So actually, do you know, it's a really lovely bunch of people because they're so positive. So I always find if I go along to one of the events and just chat to the members, I come out feeling really good about life.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it all sounds incredible, and I kind of low key wish that I was a woman so that I could come along. But you know, shout out to everything you're doing. I think it's amazing, and you know, going the extra effort to be inclusive, you know, of LGBT plus people, and just being inclusive of everyone is always a great thing. So it's been a pleasure talking to you, Emma, and it's been great finding a little bit more about Killing Kittens.
Thank you very much. Now, I'm on a WhatsApp group with 5 really filthy girlfriends of mine.
Oh, gosh.
And just before I came on, they said there's a word I can't even say.
Okay.
I hate it so much. And they said, you've got to say that word on radio.
Is it? Do you want me
I
to
can't
say
even
it?
get it into the conversation. I'm going to have to say it. I'm just going to say it moist.
Oh, moist.
I said it now.
I was going to say something. I was going to say something so worse, much worse than that, Emma.
I nearly puked as I said that, to be honest. But
I was almost going to say the word I thought you were going to say, and I'm really glad that I didn't.
What was it? What was it?
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Emma, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. See you later.
Thank you very much.
Bye.